Hello and welcome to day 4. Oh my God, of the Create Your Dream Event Planning Business Challenge. It's been such a wild ride so far, and we are not done. There's still a lot more great stuff to come. So, one heads up I want to give you right now is that we are going to have a graduation ceremony where if you complete your homework for each day of the 5 days, the worksheets that you can download on the Units tab in the Facebook group, when you complete all 5 days of those and submit them on the Facebook group, you will be invited to attend a special graduation ceremony and you will receive a certificate of completion for the challenge. And we've had people like frame their certificates and put them up because it is an accomplishment. So if you want to do that, I want to let you know right now ahead of time that the deadline to get all your homework in is Wednesday night. That's tomorrow night at midnight Pacific time. So Wednesday, September 2nd at midnight Pacific time, get all 5 worksheets in so that you can get your certificate of completion and be part of the graduation ceremony. There's only 3 questions per worksheet, so you should be able to do that even if you have to play a little catch up. Should give you time. All right, so welcome back. We're excited for an awesome day. What I would love right now is to welcome David with one aha or takeaway that you've received from the challenge so far. So if you're on Facebook, then post a comment on this live right below. And if you're in the VIP room here on Zoom, then post in the chat, what's one aha or takeaway that you've received from the challenge so far? One thing that you've liked or enjoyed or like, oh, wow. I know for me, it was the whole idea of like, hey, don't use PowerPoint in your speaking engagements unless it's, really something that you have to use as a visual, because otherwise it's just the static image. Instead, use videos if you're going to do that. So today is all about social media. And I know we've gotten a lot of questions about this. This is a big topic. We could do a whole challenge or series of challenges just on social media. And we are going to do a deep dive today and hear from David Tutera's brilliance around how he and his team use social media to attract clients and brand. So today you will learn how to get started with social media marketing. You'll choose which social media platforms are the best fit for you and your business, how to grow your social media audience or following, how to choose topics to post about, like what do you even say, and you'll learn how to convert likes and followers into paying clients. Oh yeah, right? So we've shared a lot of good stuff in the chat and on the Facebook group about ahas and takeaways that people have gotten. So David, I invite you to read all that love when you get a chance because it's awesome. And everybody read the comments because someone else might have noticed something or downloaded something that you didn't catch. And so you can learn from that too. And so right now, as we head into social media, please write what social media platforms are your favorite right now? Are you, all about Facebook, all about Instagram, kind of afraid of social media altogether? But go ahead and post a comment on the live in Facebook or post in the VIP chat. What social media platforms are your favorite right now? Awesome. And with that, I would love to welcome David Tutera to share his brilliance about social media. Welcome, David, and Joey. Joey's here too, the amazing Joey Tough. So take it away, you guys.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning, PJ.
Oh, we're both wearing black. That was not planned.
Well, yesterday we were on a call and we both have black
Okay.
V-necks, so
We tend to dress alike sometimes in meetings, so it doesn't look like we have a costume change. It's intentional. Welcome, everyone. We're talking about my favorite or not favorite topic. I can't stand social media, so I'm going to sort of put that out there for you. But the reality is that it is incredibly important. So the process of it we're going to get into, and the demand of it, and how to execute it, and what makes it so brilliant, and what makes it work, and what makes it fail, and what makes it boring, and what makes it excitement. I want to tell you a very interesting story I was thinking about as I was getting ready this morning. Social media was introduced to me back in I think maybe the second season of My Fair Wedding. So we were on this, rampant, crazy ride. This show, like out the gate, was successful, and the network was piling in tons of money for commercials. My first commercial was aired on the Emmy Awards on television, and it was a big deal. Like, they were promoting the hell out of the show, and it continued for the second season. We did the same thing with another commercial, and we had a song sung by Fergie, and it was a big deal. And all of a sudden, season 3, we got a note from the network's president and saying, all money in marketing has been cut. It's all going directly to social media. And I went, what? Like, wait a minute. I don't understand. I was actually furious, thinking they don't like the show anymore. They don't want to promote the show anymore. They had already realized in that point that social media was the future of how to get the messaging out, the future of how to get whatever content that you're trying to get eyes on. That is how you actually function. So I had to step back, and I already was coming from a place of confusion and a place of disappointment. But as I got educated by the marketing team at the network, and as I got educated in my public relations firm that represents us, and all the people that were telling us social media is the tomorrow of, getting your word out there. I kind of intentionally, I was getting ready this morning, I wore black on purpose because I'm still mourning the loss of all the normal advertising that was done. I legitimately put black on, all black. I'm in all black, including like a Batman cape, because I still mourn the traditional way that we got out there to get people to know what we do, who we are, and why we should be hired. However, I might be the only person mourning, because social media is a beast. Social media is an intriguing way to message not just your business, but getting people to fall in love with your business, with your brand, with whom you are, and what you're trying to share. And there's a fine way to balance out how you position the posts, what platforms that you use, which we're going to talk about. And I'm going to be very honest. I know a lot about everything, but I know not much to share with you about social media other than learning. I can be you on the other side of the screen. I'm the one that wants to learn more. I'm the one that now listens and goes, okay, I'll do that. Why? Okay, I'll do that. But can't we do it this way? Reality is there's a very fine way that it works best. And Joey's really great at that with the team. I go along with the ride and participate and make sure it happens.
You're being too nice. You actually, where David comes into the whole piece on social media is that creativity and the emotional connection. Because the team can build posts, build content, build copy. And David's the first one to say, no, this has no connection. This is no emotion. This is flat. And I think that's going to be some of the biggest lessons today to share on that content and that copy of how to make it engaging and meaningful. And, as PJ was sharing, we want to really talk about, one, getting started with social media if you haven't, but then really looking at the various platforms and what's the right fit for you, because there is different messaging for the different platforms. And I don't think it's always that effective. And some people fall into that trap. I know we had a marketing company for a while that fell us into that trap of, oh, well, you just post the same content on all of it. Yeah, it makes your job easier posting it all, but you miss it. You miss some of the messaging that way, and you miss some of the connection. And I think that's when the people that are actively following you, they see that. You're so funny what you said of that you don't know social media. You really do. You know that this is the tool that builds your connection. This builds your connection, your following. It creates that emotional piece with your followers. So I think we're, from an advertising perspective, sometimes, yes, it can get flat, and that's where you tune off.
Because I feel like I feel personally like I'm hiding behind a box. But the reality is that for those of you that don't know, I'm definitely a numbers person. I'm a goal-oriented number person, and I need to know, ratings of my show. I need to know how many books have been sold. I need to know, how many people are following us on social media. And it's an obsession. It really does become an obsession. So when you realize that your numbers are important, your numbers are being tracked are important to people that are looking for concrete, solid, approved businesses that really want to understand not just what you do, but how many people are paying attention to you. It's interesting. We'll go into meetings and our overall social media platforms, I think it's over 1 million followers, and that's a large number. I mean, a lot, and people's ears start listening and eyes open wider because it's relevant. They understand that if there's 1,000 people, I'm sorry, 1 million people who are following the David Tutera business model or the David Tutera business and personality, right? Mm-hmm. They want to understand what can that do for them in business. And we come with, what would be the word? We come with a history. We come with a legitimate amount of followers. None to this day have ever been purchased. They are authentic followers that are engaged.
Please don't, and thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing that one up. Please don't buy followers. Yes, it might look good for you all of a sudden to go from 100 to 2,000. It doesn't do anything for you at the end of the day. You save that money. So now I'll let you get back into there.
It's true. I mean, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry. We were talking about just of how you look at the numbers and how we take account of when we go into our meetings to talk to our different business partners on the other side of our business, not the event planning side, but on our licensing side, on the speaking side, on everything else. On television, they want to know, tell us about your numbers, tell us about your posts. For us, this has been a helpful process because we've really used the analytic tools in the social media platforms. We've used the analytic tools in Facebook and Instagram to see what posts work, what posts don't, what posts get the most likes and shares and comments. And that's one thing that has been a great evolution of this whole social media journey. It's constantly changing. I think just like our COVID regulations right now, where just as you think you get social media and how to post and when to post and the time to post, something will change, an algorithm will change, and you have to be okay with that. You have to do the work to then keep up and keep learning, just like what we're doing with COVID. Yeah. You have to keep up and keep learning. What are your new regulations? That's the name of this whole game, is you have to put in the work for it to really be effective. So when we talk about our content, because this is something that I think we've had a great learning on of content that is meaningful, engaging, content that really is great. And then even, over the last couple of months, we've still continued to grow and up level.
Well, look at the complete shift in Facebook. I mean, we've seen a major shift in how things are tracked and the numbers that come in on Facebook in comparison to Instagram. I mean, we get more outreach to the industry on Instagram, I think, than we do on Facebook. Facebook, I find to be a little bit more generic. People just following. Instagram, we get a lot of people industry in, and they're following content of events that we've done. We showcase designs. We showcase more of that. More visuals are shown on Instagram and more quick moments we're doing on Facebook. Would you agree?
Yes. Well, and on Instagram, the fun part there is you really being a visual person, being in the events industry, you get a chance to even play with how your layout looks. And that's something that we've worked on over the last couple of months. Let me just share what we've done and we can talk through this a little bit. Instagram is, so talking about the platforms, Instagram is one of our favorites. Probably it's our go-to for, especially because you can share the photography, you can make this emotional connection so well, you can share information. So a couple months ago, as we were doing a brainstorm with the team and looking at what we can continue to do better, Gianna has shared with us, have we ever thought about really looking at it more of a grid system of how we're posting and laying out so that it really cleans up the look of what you're doing and it gives the followers some direction when they come to your page. So let me just share this and we'll talk through it a little bit of what this means. That you see that now. of this David's Instagram page. We have a line of quotes. We have
That are branded.
our family in the middle. And then we have events over on this side. So it's not always that same content that's coming up. We have a variety of stuff. We have David's branded quotes for leading with motivation, whether we're posting these on our Motivation Mondays with a hashtag or throughout the week. We have our family because we do want that emotional connection with our followers. And so we have different photos of the girls, photos of us doing things together. We have Cielo's series that she's having fun with this summer. And then we have beautiful event shots. And with each of these shots, yes, there are captions that go with it, but it gives you something visual to look at. I'm going to do a couple other shares as we go through today, because there are also some great posts that I've seen and things like that, and ideas to share with you.
I also noticed that we have come to find that hashtags, we're a little less on the hashtags. Would you agree?
We're very selective on them. Yeah. So PJ, when we're talking about, you've looked through a lot of these questions coming in right now. Here in this first piece of our social media platforms, I shared Instagram's our favorite. That's our go-to, really. And what have you seen from our chat group?
So one big thing is just if somebody's just starting out, like they're not really comfortable with social media, they don't like totally get it. What would you recommend that to somebody who's just starting to use social media for marketing?
I think you need to do that. You just need to start. You need to build your profile, create your bio with a simple message of who you are, what you're about on that page, whether it's going to be starting out with Facebook or Instagram or both of them. And then start capturing images and inspirations to share, and go from there, and have some reason to it. Have some rhyme and reason of right now, as you're just getting started with building a social media platform. Part of it is to build your awareness. The big part of that is you're building awareness right now.
Who are you?
It's who you are.
What do you do?
So,
I mean, it's think of social media, and I can't sort of break this down any more simpler, is that social media is like a fast moving version of trying to create a website every day. So, your website sits and stands still, right? I mean, you make changes upon it when time is necessary, but social media, you can put things up and take things down, and you can move things around, and you can navigate and almost set the motion in place, because if you want, the first week that you start your social media platform, right? I think we both agree that go across all platforms. I mean, you can post across the board. You do it a little differently based upon what platform it is, but the content can be somewhat similar, but start with explaining to the person who has a little short attention span what you do, who you are. People on social media, as you all know, and I've learned this the hard way, is that people are not looking to read and look at things for a long length of time. Scroll. They connect, they look, they like, and then they remember, right? So that's going to go away. It just goes away up into the air, right? And then another post comes up, and they'll get sidetracked by somebody else's post. So you want to get them as quickly as possible and engage and remember what they've seen. Sometimes we post some of the most disconnected concepts that get the most attraction in numbers. I mean, we've put things on Instagram that get 50,000, 60,000, 75,000 likes. We don't even understand it, but it's almost because it's not relatable to us, yet it still makes sense. I know it sounds like a crazy puzzle, but it is. It's a moving puzzle that you can never put all the pieces together because it keeps adding and adding. So think creatively, but also think with a reason to what your story is that you're constantly going to showcase.
So like Agnes, if you're showcasing memories, that's what you shared here in the Zoom chat, that you really envision yourself as you create memories. So share content about creating memories, about what that means to you. Build on that and have your social media platform build on that you create memories.
By the way, it's a great one. Agnes, for creating memories, you almost want to do a double image, do a memory of like you when you had your first birthday party, or you had a birthday party for your grandmother or something, or just a memory of a moment in your life. You are creating memories as your business. Share a memory of your life, and then share a second split screen of an image of a memory that you've created for a client. So you're blending the story and showcasing that you understand how to create memories and a little bit about your life.
Yeah.
I love how you're talking about like on Instagram, for example, and I think you could do the same thing on Facebook, is you've determined some broad topics that you can consistently post about. So you have your David Tutera quotes, and you have your family pictures, and you have your event pictures. And so I would encourage you, if you're, on Facebook or in the VIP chat, to think about what might those categories be for yourself. So obviously, your event planning business is one of them, but what's something you could showcase personally, family stuff, or do you have a cat, or, are there any like hobbies you're engaged in? Because people will find you from different avenues of your life, and they'll be following, your cat posts or your baby posts, and then they'll start seeing your event planning posts too, and get interested in like what you do for your business. And that's one of the ways that you can pull people in. So I invite you to just kind of brainstorm about this right now. Post under the live, on somebody's sharing an alpha post on the live as a comment, like what are some categories from your own life that you could post about, or in the VIP chat. So for me, I'm a mom of, a 3-year-old. So obviously, like, my family is a big one. My business is a big one. I'm in a program for, recovery from food addiction. So occasionally I'll post about that, and people from that world start getting interested in what I do. I love to travel. That's not so highlighted right now, but when I'm traveling more, that's one. So think about what might these categories be for you that you can post about.
PJ, how did you know that I was going to talk about those cute posts?
All right, go for it.
I shared this. You're spot on. So in your content, you don't just vomit about your business. You talk about everything. You talk about your life, because again, we're about building relationships, building connections. So if you have that cute cat, you share that cute cat. If you go to the zoo or something, or a wildlife park, and you see a very cute elephant, you share the little video of the cute elephant. Because look what this does right here. When you share, a lot of the times, and this is what we see on our personal shares as well, something cute and cuddly, it's going to get a ton of shares, which means a ton of new eyes that have never seen or heard of you are going to get to see you and hear of you. And that's part of growing your network. That's one of the ways to do it. You're sharing something that was really cute and meaningful and great to you. How do you grow your platform? You grow it by finding things that connect with others that they want to share then to their network. And then their network will share to their network. That's the power of social media. Sometimes that does happen also when you're able to celebrate a beautiful event. So this one was just posted, so you don't see the number of shares haven't increased yet. But I loved what our friend Peggy did here. She's part of the mentorship program, and she's worked with us on a couple events and has been to the experience. It was her client's first anniversary. She shared the video, the behind the scenes of it. Of course, she had permission to do so, but that's how she was able to celebrate her client, which we do this too, of sharing client videos when they allow us to. Those get a lot of shares to new people, especially if it's a great video that's produced.
That's brilliant, because you could potentially share that same content every year. Happy first anniversary, happy second anniversary, happy third anniversary, and then like repurpose it. So like every time you do an event, that can be content that you share multiple times potentially.
Correct. And that's, hopefully you get to the point where you start building up all these first anniversary dates and second anniversaries that you're going to start segmenting it. So your feed doesn't just become the first anniversary celebration feed, but that's, again, a topic for you. Maybe it's every Wednesday, you're celebrating Wedding Wednesday with somebody's anniversary that you're going to highlight, or someone's celebration that you're going to highlight.
You can also reuse content that you've posted in the past. Sometimes we'll take an image. I'll give you an example. If we're promoting one of the dresses from my fashion line, and we have a model that's pulled out and you see a whole silhouette of her in the gown, you can also go into a close shot of that and then talk about the detail of it, weeks later. So you don't have to constantly find that you have to find new branded images nonstop, because that becomes a lot of work, and often we don't have all those images. So just remember, it's also how you post it and what you post and what you say.
And so I see a lot of the comments now about, all right, I'm on social media, but should I have a separate account for my business? Should I have a separate account for the different lines of my business? I think it's a lot of work. We've actually gone through that too, of how many pages do you have and manage? We had a page for the David Tara jewelry line, for the shoe line, for events. It gets too much and too diluted, that if you can figure out a way, which really isn't that hard when you start really thinking about a month in advance, create a content calendar that you can start making sense of how you're putting together your posts and really touching on everything. Now, if you're going to start posting on your personal page, just watch also what you're posting on your personal page. It is authentically you, but again, the message and the face you're sharing, is that the face you want to share?
Yeah, and the content, the monthly content in advance, explain a little bit about how that really sets us up to approve and disapprove images.
Yeah.
Because we do have to approve them before they go on. So every image and every saying or every description that we're writing is always approved by us before it's posted.
Yeah. I see a lot of fans in the VIP room of content calendars, which is great. So for those of you that don't know, there are apps that you can sign up for and create your content calendars within them. You can just get a simple calendar template and make it for yourself and keep track of it. But the content calendar really is what organizes the topics, because we talked about what topics are you going to use on social media. You have to get clear on that. That should correlate with what the vision for your business is, what your messaging is, your mission. Your topic should correlate to that. You should have the humanity aspect in there too, especially if you're going to now post on your personal page, where you're blending in your personal life there, your family, whatever you might be doing. And on this content calendar, you can really decide what days you're posting what topic on, and it keeps it consistent.
That's a great question.
What's that?
Eric is asking, how do you reach a vote on what is approved and not approved on a small team? It's very simple. I just say yes or no, and that's the way it goes. But we talk about it. But there's no time to have long conversations about posts. And
you don't want to.
No, it's either like, this is where this works. This is great. Change a word, lose that photo. We only need one photo, not two photos. It's fast.
Yeah, and here's what I like about a content calendar. You have a 2-hour meeting with your small team, or you do it by yourself. You set off that 2 hours for you, and you create your month's worth of content in that 2 hours. For some, maybe it's going to take you 3 hours, but you use that time, you schedule that time. That's what you're going to dedicate for the month. And then each day, it's not this overwhelming task, because you already know what you're posting. You have the copy all written out for it. You have, if you're sharing an image, you have that image already pulled in your file, and all you have to do that day is just post. Or again, you can choose to automate it, and you can use one of the different many tools and apps that are out there that will do automatic posting for you.
Tracking your numbers is really important. And I don't mean your total numbers of followers, numbers of how each post is doing. And like Joey was saying, once you start to see what's generating more numbers, that's what you want to continually show more of. If you find a topic or an image or a concept is sort of just falling flat and numbers are low, stop posting that direction. Find what is your sweet spot with the people that are following you, and then build those areas to allow the numbers to expand.
And then think about it when you're making your posts, like if you're doing an event image post or an event video post, tie it into a tip. What was something special about that event? What was something unique? What was something maybe you learned? What was the experience like for the guests? So when you're thinking about what that content that you're going to create for each of these posts is, think about the different pieces of the business. Think about, again, what was the memory that was created by this? In terms of posting, I would really, you don't want to annoy your followers. So I wouldn't really look to post multiple times during a day unless
It's lost too.
it gets lost. And then it also, that can affect the algorithms too. If you have something like you're on an event and you're working it, that's a great use then of stories, of like the Facebook stories or Instagram stories, where you can post it as part of your story for the day. We did that once, we've done it a couple times, where we just posted the progression of the day and what was happening.
Correct.
But we use the story aspect for that rather than continually bombarding in the main post stream. Let's see what else is here.
Can I just say something to you guys that I'm just bubbling over here because Larissa and I are taking notes and sending ideas back and forth and thinking, hey, guess what? We get to add the content calendar as a bonus. They just gave us a great idea in real time. We're thinking, how can we serve the community more? And you're shining a light on, let's just give them some more infrastructure, some more structure around what to do with this. So I love that you're bringing up these topics and making us all think. And how can we be even better? Even if we're already there and doing it, how can we look at it and make it even better? And you're showing us the way. So part of my joy is being here to teach, and part of my joy is being here to learn. And you just gave me a lot to learn and then even more to teach. So thank you. And Joey, you and I can teach a lot about that. We'll do that in the Get Started.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. We will make sure we drop those jewels in there.
Sonia has a great comment here in our Zoom room, in our VIP room. She created a post and she had an engaging copy that went with that post, and it has over 4 million people that it reached. I think the big piece, and that's what we find too on our content and the copy, if you ask a question in it, that's when you're going to see more comments filled in, because you're engaging with the
Right.
viewer, with that follower. The other piece I really wanted to share on with creating content goes back to this whole week of marketing, goes to networking, referrals, collaboration, supporting others. There's an opportunity in social media where you can collaborate with others. I think now more than ever, especially, you can collaborate. This is a post from a hotel. The hotel has a beautiful tablescape created. They worked with the designer. So an event planner, you can think about, or a designer or a florist, wherever you're at in the industry, think again about your restaurant partners, your hotel partners, everything that we've started to talk about in this past week of marketing. You can all collaborate together through stylized photo shoots, do it at their venue, and then you all are sharing this content that gets amazing results. And so for some of you too that are just getting started and you are sharing, well, I don't have content, I haven't done any beautiful events, or my clients don't have the budgets. Here's a way that you can go and find opportunities that you're not going to spend a lot of money to create, because you're going to collaborate with all the different vendors, and everyone's going to play a role in it. Everyone's going to do the work. That's what's invested here, is the time and effort versus your financial dollars that you need to keep in your bank account to support your business and payroll and whatever else you might have. So Agnes has the question, can we just go and do a setup? What was that?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to just go and do a setup at a venue, I mean, speak to the venue, and obviously it may not be a real party. Absolutely. They're going to love you for coming and setting up on their venue and showcasing your work, and then showcasing their location, as Joey was saying. I mean, we're doing Dinner with David on September 19th again. We haven't done it in a while. And we're going to do a real big setup, because we're visually going to photograph it, video it, post it on social media. Obviously, whoever views Dinner with David live, it's going to be virtual. You'll see something new and different. But we use every one of those opportunities. Even if you don't post it tomorrow or the next day, you've got that content in your back pocket. Whether you choose to have a photographer shoot it, which costs money, or a friend who can shoot it for you in the industry, or your phone is perfectly acceptable for social media. But take advantage of those moments. We even do here in the house, creating a centerpiece. You can take a centerpiece and you can take a vase that you have and go pick up some flowers and design something and take a really interesting shot of it. You didn't have to spend a lot of time and money, but then you can post it and talk about it.
Use the portrait mode on your iPhone.
Always portrait mode, which makes a big difference. But there are moments, every moment around you is a time that you can capture. And you might think it seems not worth it. It's when you post it, what you say, and the visual of that small content that you're showing.
So that's a perfect point, again, on this collaboration aspect in social media. For Dinner with David that's coming up, we had, Raj Tents, who we've worked with for a long time, and he sent us a note to just check in, see how things were going over the summer, see how he could support us, see if there's anything we could do to support him. And that's where, why don't we do another fun Dinner with David? Let's elevate it. And then let's reach out to some of our other friends that have contacted us, some of our other vendors, and see what they're doing and if they want to play. And everyone said yes.
Yeah, they're all participating.
I think that's what you will find. If you have an idea to put something together like this with a purpose, you will find probably 95, maybe 90, but I would like to say 95% of the time, your other vendor partners, if you have a relationship with them, they're going to say yes. If you don't have a relationship with them, what a great opportunity to introduce yourself.
Yes.
And they'll probably still say yes.
Agree.
So there's so many opportunities, I think, where you get to use social media, not only to reach out to clients, not only to build that relationship, that connection, but you use it also for that networking component of how do you grow your business? How do you grow your vendor partners? How do you create new content for your website and things like that?
Rive has a question she's asking, which is a great one because a lot of people ask the same one. I always struggle with what my caption should be. Any advice? It's a great question because what you don't want to do is have too many words in there. You want to keep it short and sweet, and you want to be incredibly clear. Have a couple buzzwords that are specific to what you're trying to deliver in the photo, and let it sit. Let people look, read fast, and move forward. And I do find that many people write too much. I mean, you can't do that on Instagram. You can certainly do that on Facebook. But obviously social media is for fast and furious. Everyone's moving quick.
We scroll. But here's the thing. If there's something interesting, I'm at least the person that will snapshot it because I'll keep it. I'll like it. I'll come back to it at some point and use it. Know your audience. So if you do have a bilingual audience, if your business is, we have the question, I think it was from Sophia, about posting in both English and Spanish. Do that. If your audience is a bilingual audience where some of them are only Spanish, they're not bilingual, some are only Spanish speakers, some are English speakers, post or use the translate function. I think that's great. I don't think you have to do two separate posts, one in Spanish, one in English. I think that's great.
I want to give, so when you're working we're all talking about portrait mode when you're doing your photos. My best friend is, I think I've spoken about this before, is Snapseed. It's an app, free app. Snapseed is a great app for you to use your portrait mode on your phone. You go to Snapseed on your device. You could do it right on your phone or your iPad. I use my iPhone. And you can take what's already a great picture and you can start to change the coloring. You can also do it's called healing. It's basically you're smudging out all the imperfections of the photos, both in content and people. You can change some of the colors in the background. You can take what's a good photo and turn it into a great photo all on your own. It's basically an editing app. And if I can use it, it's super easy. You can use it, and it really changes the level of the quality that you'll be posting for your photos.
Yes. Lee, when you're working with all your different groups, what do you see as the most effective content?
The most effective content is exactly what you and David have been not only demonstrating and being in, because you are naturally, it's just being authentic, who you are, sharing your passion, being consistent, being a storyteller. It keeps coming back to that. That's what you guys are doing. When I saw your Instagram and saw how intentional you are, I appreciate that now you're such an intentional storyteller. But visually, you want us to have a visual journey with you. You're designers of the world, not just events, of your entire existence, of your world. And we're seeing that through how you show up, even on your Insta page. We're seeing that you are showing up and designing it for an experience. And so you've shown us, like, it doesn't have to just be in four walls. It doesn't have to just be the way you used to do it. And being flexible and sharing that journey, being transparent, you're creating something so meaningful. It does create a movement. David, that's why this feels like a movement. Joey, that's why this feels like a movement, is because you guys have taken us on this journey, but you're just doing it naturally. That's what I love. It's not forced. It's just showing up, like you said, Joey, doing the work, being open to new ideas, and then sharing your journey. Like, I love that yesterday after we had our class together, which I know before the class, like you and I were texting Joe, and you're like, oh, we just finished our workout. We're so excited for the day. Like, you were planning for the day. But then after, you guys went to the beach, right? And you had the girls and you posted a picture. And I looked with my team and I'm like, wow, it was just a few hours ago and there's already 4,000 people interacting with it. And it's just a fun picture of them at the beach. But we know you did the work first. We were on a different journey with you in this experience with the event planners. We were on a tour with David and Joey. I specifically was on a tour with Joey around what was it like to do the work first and then go out and play. So you created your own experience. You shared it with us. You're pulling the curtain back. And now you're showing us, like, you're just being authentic. You just are so exceptional and set a high standard. But yesterday during the meeting, I showed them a shock and awe package that you gave to me. And I'll show it again actually, John has it there. John can actually show it. There's the thing that you do is from your authentic self, you share something meaningful. And here you were giving us a shock and awe package before COVID. And it was so beautiful. I brought it home and I still had it. And I love that I came across it to share it yesterday. So John, open that. First of all, show the cover. This is David and Joey showing up before COVID, before people were sending boxes and it was in vogue. They were doing it to create a meaning there. So there's the David Tutura Event Planning Symposium. Now lift the cover and show us inside the feeling they create from the beginning. Again, this is way before COVID. No one even thought of this. Thank you for sharing your passion, creativity, and energy to all the event planners who were lucky enough to be in the room, which is between 40 and 50. 10 were volunteers. They were students that got it as an award because David is so gracious and giving. But there's all these gifts in here from David and Joey that are like treasures to me, so much that I kept everything intact because it created a feeling. So is this worthy of me going back to my social media page right now and saying, guess what? This is how I felt when David gave me this. Yeah, that's how it has long legs. Us as a community sharing that story over and over, showing how it's meaningful. That's what David and Joey are showing. They're showing they're not only doing it for us, they're now doing it for their vendors. They just brought their tent person into the conversation where I know they'll get private messages. Who do you use for your tent? I know it'll be in the credits because everyone will be saying, who do you use for your tent? Because you brought them in the dialogue, they're now part of a bigger picture. And by putting it on social media, it multiplies it. Yeah. That's what social media does. It immediately multiplies it. It can multiply for good. It can multiply for bad. You guys have set the stage that it will always multiply for good because your heart is there. And we're going to always be part of the tribe to celebrate those goods with you. So I love that. Thank you for opening the door for us. I mean, when we hear your history and, you know, like you said, David, you were doing this before social media was a thing. And season 3, they started putting it in. Season 3, they're like, hey, by the way, I remember that because that's when Yelp came out. And all of these companies in Silicon Valley, they had $50 and $100 million advertising budgets. And I was in the room where a company with $100 million advertising budget said, this year, 50% of it goes to online, including Yelp. And we're like, what? What's this Yelp thing? I signed up that day. I think it was 2007. I signed up that day to understand from the inside, what does it mean to be in this Yelp community? I learned so much as a business owner on how to play in their sandbox. Did I love it? No, it was a love-hate relationship, still is. I have bricks and mortars. But that was my first entry into social media. And just like you, David, in that moment, you're like, something just changed. 50%. You had 100% of your budget get transferred. That's very risky. We had 50%, but that meant $50 million was used to go here in traditional advertising, on TV, in radio, in magazines. All of a sudden, 50% was going to social media. So I started paying attention. I'm glad I got the education. It's more than a decade. It's changed so much. What you guys did today was show us what to pay attention to right now.
Thank you, Lee. And I think the other piece of what we need to pay attention to on that content, because we talked about the content, but one piece that I think we left out a little bit or didn't highlight enough was when you are posting images, especially the images from your events or your collaborations, make sure you are tagging everybody that is involved in that. So the photographer, the florist, every single vendor that was part of putting that image together, put them in there, the venue. So that way everyone can be seen and can celebrate and share that, hopefully that success of that post. Or if somebody is
I love that. What I love about that too is then you can also guide them on how to show up on the same day and multiply it. Like when a book goes bestseller, it's because before the day it went bestseller, they revved up 100 or more people to all buy it on the same day and all review it on the same day to give it a big lift, to be noticed, to get that bestseller status. That's what can happen in our group, is people getting together and intentionally lifting together. So David and Joey, when you do launch your next TV show, which of course we want to be on that ride with you, we're your instant audience that's here. All of us here want to see you successful. So we're your beta. You get to run things by us. You get to do red carpet. Let me show you the first 10 minutes, preview. You get to play along, but we get to learn from you how to then do it in our community. We also get to elevate with you. We also get to give you the truth and, connect with you through that experience. And I love that you bring that to us, things like that to think about. Now, because you guys mentioned being on a TV show, everyone is starting to think like, if I had a TV show, what would that be like? Or if I was a guest on David's TV show, what would that be like, right? There's all kinds of really cool things that are swirling in people's imagination because you planted the seed. You're the ones that said this is possible. And through this challenge, you've actually shown it's possible. And through a lot of the people in the Mentor with David program, what they're saying is for the last 2 months, they're pinching themselves and saying, could this be real? I'm actually not only mentoring with David, but it's actually affecting their business in a positive way. And people are overflowing with details of how they're thinking different and how they feel connected. And honestly, David, you're shortening the learning curve for so many of us that it's saving us a lot of money, but giving us opportunities to also make a lot of money. These are actual things I could put in my business and be more successful immediately. And social media is a big place for that. Joey, you pulling the curtain back and giving the details and the structure around what to think about and how to design it and showing those examples.
I found that Zoom.
That's huge.
The Zoom recorder.
So, okay, John.
Welcome to 2020.
So anyway, I love it. He's actually with Ian and they're working on videos behind the scene and they're doing their things in social media. And, we have RJ on the line and she's going to be our guest speaker on Thursday about what to do in Messenger, which Messenger is the highest level of how to interact in social media in a meaningful way. And she's collecting ideas from us and GIFs from us. And would it be okay if we bring her on to say hi for a minute?
Sure.
Hey, RJ, I would love you to join the conversation and give us a little idea of, some of the takeaways you got today from social media, but also do you have 1 or 2 other items you want to share with us?
Absolutely. Well, so we'll go takeaways first. When you showed the Instagram page and you showed the stories that you're telling, the quotes on this column, the family, and then the business right there, it just gave me some really brand new ideas on how to approach my own. I'm a computer person, so my business isn't necessarily as visual. So I've always kind of wondered what to do with my Instagram account, but now I got a plan. So that was one of my big takeaways. And I would say that social media can surprise you. it can surprise you. I feel like we're getting a lot of value. Of course, everybody feels that way, but David and Joey are showing us those accounts and their event planners. Sometimes if you listen to marketers will just kind of repeat what other marketers say, and it's not necessarily useful to, it's not necessarily useful. And so I feel like, talking to somebody who's in that industry has given us so much value. And I would say, Messenger's the bomb. When you've gotten their attention, when you're ready to nurture them, when you're ready to have a conversation and make a connection, Messenger's where you do it, and Instagram is the signpost. Facebook is the signpost. It's all of the, here's how I get your attention. Now, well, how are we going to transform that into a situation where we have a relationship and maybe a contract and a bottom line in there? So that's what I would, those are my revelations today. Thank you, David and Joey. It's been beautiful listening to this.
Oh, thank you, RJ. Thank you for being part of this and for sharing. We'll look forward to hearing more from you on Thursday too. I think the important part is that when you are posting, and RJ will probably hit on more of this on Thursday, that you don't just put a post out there and then walk away from it. You are staying engaged with your own post, with the comments that are happening on it. And so when you see the person that's commenting to you that's very excited about your post, you figure out how to reach out to them. And you either comment back to them or you take it to the next level and you message them. But you can't just post and walk away from it. You have to stay engaged and follow what your comments are. And that's how you also learn how to post better content, how to post better copy, because you'll see it through there. You'll either see it through there that you have 0 comments or 10 comments or very few, or you'll see this, wow, that created 100 comments. I need to do more of that wow type of copy again.
Go back. Everyone go back to their social media accounts, at least for the past just month, and scroll through them when you've got some time, and just write some numbers down. Track the posts that have had a higher volume of followers or shares, and just sort of create your own content of information to see what's performed versus bad. And then you'll be able to begin to take over the social media account and hopefully do a better job with it.
That's very true. So when you're starting your business, you can, we talked about this too, and we will continue to talk about it. When you're starting, don't go out and hire everyone to do everything. You have to invest your time in it. Instead of spending the money, spend your time. Once you're at that next level of your business where you need more time to either plan the events or to work in the business, so you need to start delegating and passing off of those things. Social media might be one of them that you might give to somebody to help handle for you, but stay engaged in it. That person you hand it off to, they can do the posting of it. They can, do all the technical stuff for you. So that takes it off your plate. But you still have to be involved in creating that content, making sure that it's you, that it's coming from your voice, because that will make a huge difference for you.
If you do decide to have someone part of your team or someone that you're going to have work on the details of social media, my 100% advice is they should be under the age of 28 years old. And the younger that they are, the quicker that they are, and the more connected they are to social media. And I say that legitimately with advice to all of us, that we don't want someone of at least my age, even your age, making the decisions or the advice on social media. We make final choices, but they know what they're doing. They're fast, they're furious, they're smart, they're engaged, they have the attention span of an ant, and they can make these things happen quick.
It's a team approach. It's collaborating. It's reaching out to your network of support to see everyone that's around you and learn from everyone. Be open, be coachable. Always be in that mindset of be coachable, because things are said and happening around you every instance that you could, if you're in tune, you can learn something great from and implement. And especially, as David's talking about social media and learning it, and because it is ever changing, that, you could be with your family and a nephew or niece could say something about it. It's okay to say, tell me more about that. What are you talking about TikTok? I've never heard about that. Tell me more, and learn from them. Because one, you're building more relationship with that family member, and you're elevating them that you want to hear from them. And then you're learning something from them. So it's 1000% win-win-win. I love win-win-wins. That's why I live in a rosy-colored world.
It is true though, but when you're in this energy and you're in your genius and it's all aligned and you've given it structure and a plan, it's not haphazard. Now we see how much time and consideration and expertise and how much you ask other people for help, and you're literally asking other people to help you do the right thing and pay attention and be meaningful. So by us seeing that, we know we have to spend more time learning how to do it and implementing it ourselves and fine tuning it for our authentic selves. You've given us a really great pathway and a lot to think about today. What do you think, PJ? Are you just blown away? And you're a social media champ. You and I have been doing this over a decade together.
Totally. And I still got some tips and have been taking notes. And one last question, David and Joy, I'm curious, how have you seen your social media marketing turn into clients? I mean, I know for me, it's a great way to stay top of mind with potential clients and even build relationship with my referral partners. And I'm wondering what you've seen in your business, how do you, what's the difference between, okay, I'm just getting followers and no, this is actually having an impact on my bottom line. What have you seen, and what tips, if any, can you give us on how to monetize our social media efforts?
Well, I do know that potential clients that are reaching out to us, they do go to our website, but they do go to social media. They are following us on social media. And the only reason why I know that is because it will come up in dialogue and they'll say, which sort of stuns me often, is that, oh my God, you've got a beautiful family. I saw your children, and, I saw all the great photos that you've got on social media. So, social media is a place for your hopeful client that will sign you, that they're going to do their own investigating on you. And what better place to do that is on social media. They want to know us. They want to know who we are. They want to know what we do. Websites are great, but social media gives you a deeper dive into us as people. So I think it's really important. I don't know the translation, question, how it translates into a client that's signing up, but I do know it comes up, and I do know that they're following, and I do know that they're engaged. Potential clients, and now clients that we've passed on and we've done great events, continue to follow us because they're intrigued by what we do.
Pretty much every single client looks at social media. But here is the fascinating part, and David shared it, but I want to make sure that everyone heard it. They ask about the family. See, they got engaged. Part of it is they want to be with a real person. So they actually do look at the family, what's going on there. So have humanity in your social posting. So share those experiences, share those memory creating moments. That's what will make a difference, so that when your client is vetting you and they're going and they're looking at all the social media platforms of all the different planners or designers or whatever role you play in the industry, they're out there looking, you stand out to them. You stand out because your profile made the connection. That's what social media gives you the opportunity to do. Of your website, it's there, it starts the conversation, but your social media gives you the opportunity to continue to push it forward.
I do want to create a little bit of clarity with the posts that you're showcasing on social media that is about content on events. So for example, if you're a company currently right now, let's just say you're brand new in the business, and your ability and comfort level is producing events that are of a specific budget. Don't go from showcasing those photos to then going super high end if you're not there yet. I want you to build your business, the model of your business, and let it grow as you grow on social media. And that's the reverse. If you're a luxury brand or a business that's producing, large events, don't then go showcase a dinner for 4 people and say this was an event that you did. You can say that was a dinner that you did at home. Let it be clear what you're showcasing so people don't get confused by your messaging. That's really, really important.
I think that really hits on Deb's question of having your social media really align with you, and it resonates with you, and it resonates with the type of client that you're
Yes.
looking for.
And I just, another point real quickly is, and there's nothing more that aggravates me, is that when someone will grab a photo off of someone's social media and then use the photo and say, this is an event that I did. So please be respectful of that. If you want to use that photo and use it as an inspiration that this is something that I'd like to do, like something similar to this, give the credit to the person who designed it. That's out of respect for our industry. And I know that people are stealing images to showcase as if it was their work. So please try to, trickle that down to everyone in our business. I think that's really important.
Absolutely. Always respect and honor the origin. Always, always, always. We have to do that. That's the number one thing in lifting each other, is always respect and honor the origin. I love that you brought that into that. I see it's 11:03. You guys have been on fire today. You have shared so much from your heart, because this is an experience in your everyday life, in your brand, in your family. Like, you've shown how important this is to you. And I love it because we're learning so much. And I'm glad you've enjoyed this, but also shared this journey with us. PJ, you asked great questions. Do you have any more? Do you have another one?
I just want to say we've gotten quite a few people posting in the Facebook thread like, this is my favorite session so far. Yes, the challenge just keeps getting better and better. And I want to make sure you know where to find your homework for today. So go to the Create Your Dream Event Planning Business Challenge, click on Units, and scroll down. Hang on. Okay, scroll down to day 4, social media, to get the day 4 worksheet. And what it looks like is this. So which social media platforms do you want to maintain a presence on? This is up to you. This is really to reflect and think. You can say, I want to have a basic presence on all of them, or I really want to focus on one. It's up to you. And then what's your number one that you want to focus your marketing efforts now to really get up and running? And then of course you can get another one up and running. And then what are 5 topics that you can post about? Is it family? Is it, quotes? Is it travel? Is it, skiing, whatever, so that people can get that personal connection with you, like David and Joey were talking about. So make sure that you do your homework, all the homework from all 5 days. If you're able to get that in by midnight Pacific tomorrow, September 2nd, then you can actually join our graduation ceremony and get a certificate of completion. So make sure you get all that homework in by then. We are going to head over to our VIP after party Q&A hot seat session. So for now, if you're joining us on social media on Facebook, we'll see you tomorrow for PR and media. Super exciting. And Lee, do we have any extra guest speakers you want to make sure they're aware of?
Oh my goodness, we are going to be back here in less than an hour. In 55 minutes, we're going to be back here with David Nagel. He is an encore performance. He was here last time. Actually, in our very first challenge, we had him on around mindset. And our team has said he was instrumental in us being seen as essential no matter what, because he helped us in our mindset shift to no matter what, we are essential, and we could create our own pathway. And so we're bringing him back for an encore presentation. He'll be here in 54 minutes, which is noon Pacific time. And then at 2 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to have a sales conversation. We're going to see how marketing turns into sales and what to do with it. So we have 2 experts to come on and just pull the curtain back on what their joy is and what their expertise is. And I'm so glad we get to share them. And this was one of my favorite presentations ever too, because David and Joey share so many great ideas, and me seeing their thought process and what they've gone through, it's inspired me to really pay attention at a higher level. I think they do it right, and I love it. So PJ, thanks for your great questions and for monitoring the VIP room and helping with all of that. I really appreciate it. So take it away, Skippy. We're ready to head into the after party. And bye, everyone. We'll see you back here at noon Pacific time. Bye.